Hi, welcome to online grade 7 tuitions with teacher Query. This is unit 5 in our lessons, and the topic is materials and energy. This topic is going to be divided into parts, and this is part A. Now, after this lesson, you should be able to state what electricity can do and identify sources of electricity. And secondly, after going through this lesson, you should be able to explain the meaning of good conductor of electricity, and also you should be able to explain what the term bad conductor of electricity means. Lastly, after concluding this lesson, you should be able to describe what good conductors are used for and what bad conductors of electricity are used for. Now, let us get started with uses of electricity. Now, you look at these images. They show things that I believe you are familiar with. We use electricity to power up stoves, for example, so that we can cook food. So in this picture you can see a pot and it is on a stove. We are able to cook because there is heat energy that comes from the stove, and that heat is made possible by electricity. So we use electricity to power up stoves so that we can cook food. And in the second picture, we see a young boy watching television. How is the television set, or how is a TV able to come on? It is able to come on because there is electricity that flows through some wires, and that electricity enables us to watch television. So we use electricity to power up devices like a TV or a computer. Okay. Let's look at our last example, which is being shown in this picture here. What do you think this is? Well, this is a light bulb, and that is what electricity is used for. Electricity is used to provide light in our homes. So you are able to have light through your light bulbs or whatever other devices you can be using for lighting up your home. All that is made possible because of electricity. So users of electricity, we use electricity to power up stoves so we can cook food. We use electricity to power up devices or electrical appliances, what we call electrical appliances like a TV or a computer. And electricity also is used to provide light in our homes. Okay, let us look at sources of electricity. When we say sources of electricity, we are looking at things that produce electricity. Now, things that produce electricity include the following. Water. Well, you may wonder, how does water produce electricity? Well, engineers are able to put up different devices so that as water flows, it is able to produce electricity for us. For now, we won't go in details on such a detailed topic, but just know for now that water is a source of electricity. And electricity that is made by water is called hydroelectric power. Okay, that is what we call it. And here in Zambia, actually, much of our electricity is produced by water which is at the Kariba Dam, and so in Zambia what we have is much of what we have is hydroelectric power. Another source of electricity is heat, and electricity that is made by heat is called thermoelectricity. Another well-known source of electricity is the sun, okay? And electricity that is produced by the sun is called solar power, okay? So there are these solar panels which people put in sunlight, so that when that device receives the sunlight, it converts the heat energy coming from the sun into electricity. So the sun is a source of electricity, and the electricity which it produces is called solar power. Now let us talk about good and bad conductors of electricity. And what you need to know is that there are some things which can allow electricity to go through them, and there are those things which do not allow electricity to go through. For example, if you want to turn on your computer or your television set, usually you have a cable like this picture you are seeing, and you plug it into a socket, and well, your machine is able to go on, and what is happening is that electricity will be flowing through this cable. Now, things that allow electricity to go through them are known as conductors of electricity, or simply good conductors. But there are also things that do not allow electricity to go through them, and those are known as bad conductors. Now, another name for bad conductors is insulators. Okay? Now, I have some two questions for you. Let me ask you the first one. I want you to name two things that are good conductors of electricity. Just look around your home, maybe in the kitchen, in your living room, or wherever you are. Think of devices or appliances. Not devices or appliances. Or you can think of an object, a material that you think is a good conductor of electricity. It can enable electricity to go through it. That is question number one. Question number two, I want you to name two things that are bad conductors. So look around the objects around you and think of which ones cannot allow electricity to go through. Alright? I'll give you a little moment to think about that. Okay. Let's see. Let's look at examples of good conductors. Good conductors examples include solids like copper, silver, and gold. Okay? And liquids also. Liquids like tap water and mercury, they also conduct electricity. But well, it is not all liquids. That is why we are specifying here that liquids like tap water or sea water, they can conduct electricity. But we also have bad conductors, and these include solids like wood, plastic, and rubber. These materials do not conduct electricity. What about liquids? Would you think of any liquid which does not conduct electricity? Okay, here they are. There is water that is called distilled water, and alcohol also. These two liquids do not conduct electricity, so they are bad conductors. Now, well, do you think there are special uses for good and bad conductors of electricity? Yes. Good conductors, for example, like copper, they are used to make wires through which electricity can flow. So earlier I had shown you a small cable, and when that cable is plugged, inside that cable is a copper wire, for example. And why do we use copper wires inside those cables? Because copper is a good conductor of electricity. It allows electricity to flow through. Okay, and so electricity comes to your home through copper wires, and maybe you've noticed this when you go outside or along your road. You'll notice there are these poles which have copper wires, and there will be a wire which is connected to your house. Those wires you see which run from pole to pole, they're actually copper wires, and they're the ones which brings electricity to your home. Why is that so? Because copper is a good conductor of electricity. Okay, and of course electricity enters appliances like a pressing iron, which you use to iron your clothes. Electricity enters through such appliances through small copper wires. Okay, so some things I've talked about, you can see them here. I mentioned about the copper wires which run from pole to pole, and you can see in this image, I believe you've seen structures like these along the road, you know, and different houses and buildings, you know, they get their electricity from the wires which run from those poles and pylons. Okay, and of course here you've seen this image of a boy watching television. All these are different uses of electricity, and most of these devices you are seeing and appliances, inside them are metals which are able to conduct electricity. Now, bad conductors. Let's quickly talk about bad conductors. Bad conductors are also useful. Okay, bad conductors are used to protect us from being harmed by electricity. Imagine if you wanted to use a pressing iron and it was all made of metal without any part you can touch. Well, you won't be able to use a pressing iron. So part of a pressing iron needs to be made of a material that is a bad conductor, so that you are able to hold that pressing iron without being harmed or being injured. And so, well, that is the reason why appliances have either plastic, wood, or rubber handles. Okay, so let us conclude. What have we learned in this lesson? We've learned that we use electricity to power up appliances like a stove, pressing iron, and a TV. Then sources of electricity include the sun, water, and heat. Objects that allow electricity to flow through them are called good conductors. And objects which do not allow electricity to flow through them are called bad conductors. Alright? So after going through this lesson, I want you to log into your e-learning portal. I believe you have you know how to do that, and attempt the grade 7 exam questions which are based on this topic. And if you are watching this video but you are not yet enrolled for this tuition service, and you would like to find out more about it, please send us an email. Write an email to grade7preparation@gmail.com. Thank you.